it is an issue, and I've recently, maybe a year and a half ago, I attended a conference on education and engineering, or engineering education, I forgot, and that was kind of one of the themes. They had a few sessions running on that theme, like how there's always that issue of how can you bridge the gap between industry in engineering and what students are learning in engineering colleges. I don't think there's an easy kind of formula for this. Some colleges do offer some co-op programs, and those co-op programs are prerequisites for graduation. Like in RIT, where I teach, we do have that. So students have to spend about 9 months as an undergraduate student working for different industries. So it kind of helps prepare them, for the real job.
Mm-hmm.
Some colleges, I am aware that they do offer kind of some electives on soft skills in some cases. So how to behave in bigger organizations, and so on. So there's not like a formula or one course that can help students, get ready for industry. It's pretty complicated. And, I feel like the curriculums with time, they are changing a little bit to adapt to those changes, to what the market needs. But as it is right now, like students, they have to put that effort, okay, when it comes to starting a new job. Big part of it is also, I would say, accepting the fact that you are going to be encountering things in your job that you haven't seen in college. So I feel like a lot of the complaints are because sometimes students are a little bit either stubborn or kind of maybe they feel cheated, that they think that they're encountering things in the real world that they haven't seen in class. So I feel a big part of it is to let go. So they should accept the fact that yes, it will always be the case that you will face things that you haven't seen in class. In class, what you kind of learn is how to approach a certain problem, a way of thought, but it'll always be different, every time. Even in my job, like as a faculty member. So, grad school, I would say, prepared me from a research point of view how to become a researcher, but I never took a class on how to teach undergraduate students, never. So yet, here I am teaching students, strength of materials, conducting labs, teaching some things a little bit out of my area of expertise. So it is everywhere. So while what you learn in college, it's not a prerequisite for what you're gonna do later down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So my message for students would be like, don't be stubborn. Accept the fact that yes, you will face things that you haven't seen before, and later down the road, I feel like they will. For me, it's a nice challenge. So it's something that pushes you to do better. It's something exciting about your job because it's not something that I've seen before. I have to look into it. I have to read about it. I have to ask people about it. So those things are good. I would say they're healthy for an engineering job.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Asking, trying out new things and seeing where it takes an individual is the way to learn, right?
Exactly.
So while speaking about students, the next question is
Yep.
again. So some of the students in the system is at the senior year, everyone needs to do a capstone project,
Yes.
big capstone project in the 8th semester. So students start aiming big. So
Mhm.
they want to either create a new source of alternate energy or create a car which runs without polluting the air. So they aim big, but over a period of time, 2 months or one to 1.5 months after they go around hitting more walls, and they come back and say, okay, I'm just going to dilute everything and going to
Yeah.
do some other project just to finish the coursework. So what is your advice to people or students who aim big and want to get there, but do not have the clear path? So you handle
Yeah.
grad students, and
Yes. Yes.
what is your thought process in that?
Yeah. It's it's a tricky question. Like maybe let me first start from a different angle. Like the project or the topic selection itself, I think it's pretty important. So before aiming big out, it's really important to kind of survey. Let's say I don't know if students are working on, I don't know, let's say a bicycle for people who are paralyzed the waist down or have some kind of disability from the waist down. So they have to do it. I go back to the research idea. So a decent amount of research and quality research on what has been done in that field. What are some products, let's say tricycles that are maybe hand operated, hand pedals? How are those working out? What is the feedback from a product point of view from the customers who do use them? And then from there, you can start noticing that, okay, there's a deficiency, for example, in those products because they lack something, or because they're too heavy, or they eat up battery way too fast. So you start pinpointing some deficiencies in existing designs, and I think that's a good starting point. So you've done your homework, you've done your research, you've realized where the deficiencies are, and you can clearly formulate an objective statement or a problem statement that says my project is gonna do better than the competition by improving, for example, the battery life of this bicycle, and it's gonna be lighter, so it'll be easier with people with some kind of disabilities. So it'll be the second that you're focused, I think it'll help address the problem that you're talking about. So maybe a lot of students, yes, they aim big, but I feel like part of it is because the topic is way too broad. It's way too broad that it's not the students can't do it, but maybe it can't be done in a semester, or it needs a really big team with like multi disciplinary support from students from different backgrounds and so on. So my advice would be to start, with surveying what's already been done in that field and look for deficiencies. From there onwards, pick on those deficiencies and see how you can improve them. And I think once the topic is well defined, that's still considered as you're aiming big, but at least it's pretty well defined, so you know where you're going, rather than kind of jumping right away and saying I want to do some very broad topic. That as you're doing it, you start facing problems because you realize maybe it's already been done, or maybe it's super expensive to perform it in a certain way, and that's why industry does it this way or what have you. So having that focus at an early stage is really important.
Okay. Yeah.
And I follow that up with I'm not sure if all students have to do that, but I really encourage senior students to kind of approach industry in that sense, because those are the people that actually sell products. So if something is not going to sell, that means it's not desired. So you always start from there. So if you manage to get some kind of small sponsorship from industry, that means yes, this idea is necessary. If you have this really nice idea, but you can't find a single sponsor from industry, that means maybe something's wrong with this idea. Maybe it's not very marketable. Maybe it's not necessary. So why do it in the first place? So it's always nice to have a cause. And industry is a perfect validation for students and researchers, myself, for that cause. So I can, as a researcher, I can write proposals and send them everywhere. I probably will get, maybe less than 1% of acceptance. That doesn't mean that the other ideas are not going to work. They are, but we can't capitalize on